Chris here on Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and I am going to try to give a little class here quickly on building a 3-5 character. A lot of people have switched to 5th edition, and that's fine. We tried to make that transition, then we decided to come back. We thought that 5th edition was a little flat and was missing some of the better nuances. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start out. We have a 3.5 character sheet front and back. We have a player's handbook 3.5. Handy dandy notebook, pen, and dice, which I just blocked with my thumb. That's my super DMing clipboard. Oh yeah, sexy. And that is Mr. Daryl and Melinda. She's not a Mr. She's a Mrs. So the first thing you're going to need is some D6s. Now, I roll my stats different than a lot of people, but we're going to roll like a standard thing. We're going to make some... what all DMs should do. We're going to make some rules. You can't have anything below 8. And you re-roll ones. So we're going to re-roll ones. We don't know what we're going to build yet, but the first thing we're going to do is roll dice. So we're starting out with our first is a 10. Our second is a 10. Our third... and there's a 1, so we're going to re-roll him, is a 13. I'm sure you guys know how to do math, but just in case you don't, nope, there's a 1, let's re-roll that. There's a 14, or 15 I should say, that's nice. Oh, look at that, there's another one, 15, and 6. You need to have 6, 13, because the 6 base attributes in Dungeons & Dragons. Alright, now we're going to roll 2 sets, and choose the better of the 2, because we're cheaters. So we got a 13 here. Ooh, a 16. Rerolling ones. 14. Now, if your DM doesn't let you reroll ones, it's because he hates you. Just so you know. And even if he does hate you, he might reroll them just so he can make the enemies tougher. There's a 13. And there's a 9. Alright, so we want to know which one of these sets is better. Well, there's a little formula. It's the modifier formula. 10 to 11 is 0. Oops. And that means that you are average in that skill. The average human walking on the street has a 10 or 11. You're a little better than average, and you're at a 12 to 13, you get a +1 bonus to things related to that statistic, that attribute. 14 to 15 is a +2. So, you know, obviously you're going to see on pattern here, 16, 17, 3, 18 to 19 is 4, whatever. Oh, those are positives. Now, if you're worse than average, say you have an 8 or a 9, you have a -1. Or a 6 to 7, -2, etc., all the way down to 1. All right, so what we've determined is that we know what these numbers are worth. So let's total up the stats and see which set has higher value. That's +1, that's a +2, +2, +1. So the first set, total modifiers, more well-rounded set, not a bunch of high lows, but kind of like an even across, has 6. This set here has 1, 3, 5, or 2, -1, 1, -1. So 5, 6, 7, +5. Now, that doesn't mean just because this has 6 modifier points and this has 5 modifier points that this is worth. For example, if we want to build a character that relies heavily on one attribute, one ability, for example, a fighter who strength is his big key one, and if he's going to be tanky, then obviously he's going to need constitution for health. Okay, good. This number 2 set is where we want. If we want to build a more well-rounded character who can do lots of different things, we don't want negatives, and we definitely, you know, need a set that has more attribute bonuses. For example, a bard. A bard needs several attribute points to be effective. Fighters do not. All right, so we're going to go with set 2, and we're going to build a fighter. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to the player's handbook, and we need to figure out what race we want to be. It's weird looking through my phone and writing race. Boop. All right. Flip your player's handbook open to the beginning. Look at this player's handbook. All my player's handbooks are beat up, and that's just how it is. The races. Now we have your different races here. Here's the dwarf, the human. Whoop, there he is. The elf, the half elf, the big head gnome, the half orc, and the halfling. The halfling is half something and half something else. So each race has different bonuses. For example, Mr. Human gets 4 extra skill points at first level, 1 extra skill point at every other level, and he starts with 1 additional feat. He can pick any class as his favorite class, which is very handy if you plan on multi-classing to min-max, but otherwise is not so great. The halfling. He gets several bonuses to skills such as spot and listen and stuff because he's considered to be observant. He gets a +2 to dexterity, but he's small and not as strong, so he gets a -2 to strength. Because of his size, it's easier for him to hit an average-sized person like him, so he gets a +1 bonus to that. And also, since it's harder for this big man to hit this little guy, he receives a +1 bonus to his armor class for his size. However, if he were to want to grapple big man, he would suffer a -4 penalty. But he's small, so he gets a +4 to hide on top of it. Same thing with the gnome, except for instead of dexterity, he's got constitution, because they're hardy and sturdy people. And they have big heads. And then you have the half-orc. He's got a +2 to strength, a -2 to charisma, and a -2 to, I think, intelligence. Wow. Half-orcs are only good to be barbarians and fighters. Dwarves. Dwarves are, like, amazing. But anyways, they get a +2 to con, -2 to charisma, which sucks for building a cleric with them when you need to turn undead. The half-elf. I don't know anything about him. Elf. +2 to dexterity, -2 to constitution. They're sickly and weak, but they're quick and clever or something. And females. And guys that build female characters, you need to really look at yourself and what you want out of life and who you want to be. So I'm going to pick a human, since he is super basic and gets an extra feat. So the next step is to flip through the different character classes to the fighter. And we could go through every one of these classes and talk business, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go to the fighter. The first thing we need to know about the fighter is that strength is his most important attribute, and it says so in the book here. Strength is especially important for fighters because it improves their melee attack and damage rolls. So we know that on our character sheet here, we're going to put our highest stat into that. 16 is a strength. Now, you don't want to write in this in pen. You want to write in pencil, but we're writing in pen so you can see it more clearly. So my strength is 16. Now let's go back over here and look at the abilities again. Constitution is important for giving fighters lots of hit points, which they need for their many battles. So let's go over here and look at our next highest stat, which is this 14. So we're going to put that in Constitution. All right. Now, let's go back over here. Dexterity is important for fighters. Where's it at? Important for fighters who want to be good archers or want to access certain dexterity-oriented feats. But the heavy farmer I can't even speak English today because I'm trying to read through my phone and in real life. Dexterity-oriented feats, but the heavy armor that fighters usually wear reduces the benefit of a very high dex score. Okay, so that's bad news. We're going to put dex next so we can use bows, though. We have 2 13s. We're going to use one of those. Now, fighters do not get very many skill points, but they don't have very many skills that are involved in being good-looking or smart or knowledgeable. We're going to give him the 13 in his intelligence and the 9 in his wisdom and charisma because he is an unattractive, unseasoned individual, and he is smarter than the average guy. He's sturdy. He's got decent hand-eye coordination. He's got the moves, and he's strong. So let's plug our ability modifiers in here. We're going to need those. So the 3 for the 16, the 1 for that, the 2, the 1, the -1, the -1. All right, these are going to affect many of our stats. Fighters are a D10 hit die character. At level 1, I give my characters max hit die. But let's assume I'm a bully DM. Let's get our D10, and let's roll this fighter's hit die. We rolled a 6. So his hit points are going to be 6 plus his Constitution modifier of 2, and his hit point total starting out is going to be 8. Not very sturdy. That's not very many hits with a sword. Alright, our armor class, we are not going to have any armor. So our armor bonus will be 0. Our shield bonus will be 0. Our dex bonus will be 1. Speed of a human is 30, which is 6 inches. Our initiative, dex plugs in there, 1 goes there. Base saves, okay. So fighters' base saves are a fort strong, reflex, and will weak. So as we look at the fighter chart for level 1, we have a base attack bonus of 1. Let's plug that in our character sheet here. Base attack bonus. Alright, and then we have our saving throws. Now I remember I said that our base saves are fortitude strong, reflex, and will weak. Then we need our ability modders. For constitution, for fortitude, it's 2. We know that. For reflex, we know it's dexterity. That's 1. And for will, it's wisdom, which for us is a -1. So that puts us in a bad spot if somebody tries to mind control us. Because so far we're sitting at a -1 right there. Alright, let's go back to our sheet. We at level 1 also receive a bonus feat. So let's flip on the back of our character sheet, look at special abilities, and we have a level 1 bonus feat. Now in our regular feats, we have a human feat for starting, and a level 1 character feat that we're going to receive. So we're going to have 3 feats. So being a human fighter really puts us ahead of the game on feats, if you know what the feats are. So I can't wait till we get there. Now let's look at the class features for a fighter. These are things that you would want to write down in the special abilities. Weapon and armor proficiency. Proficient with all weapons, martial and simple. With all armors, light, medium, and heavy. And with shields, including tower shields. Then you get the bonus feat progression. Now, you have class skills as a fighter. Your fighter skills are what? Climb, craft, handle animal, intimidate, jump. Let me see. Ride and swim. I couldn't remember the ride. Okay. Not a big selection. You get 2 plus your intelligence modifier for skill points. So we get an intelligence modifier of 1. So 2 plus 1 plus the 1 for being human is 4. At first level, you multiply it by 4, so we have 16 to start with in these class skills. And remember what I said, they were climb, craft, jump, intimidate, ride, swim. Did I miss one? Did I get jump, climb, poop, 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 poop. Oh, handle animal. Darn it, Chris. All right, so we have 16 points. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skills. So what we can do, the most amount of points you can put in is your level plus 1. Since we are level 1, that means we can put 4, because 3 plus 1 is 4. So the things that we think are going to be most important are going to be climbing, probably. We'll put 2 in there. Jumping, we'll put 2 in there. Swimming, well, if we're wearing armor and carrying a sword, and swimming is going to be tough. So there's 6 of our 16 right there. So let's see. We're going to want to be able to handle animals so we can keep our horses and stuff in line and train the horses and maybe a dog. So our charisma is at a weak, so let's put a 3 in there, taking us to 9 of our points. Riding, we have a lower dex. We need to be able to ride carts and horses and such. So we'll put 3 in there. So that puts us up to 12 of our 16. We'll put 2 in craft weaponsmithing so we can sharpen and maintain our sword. And we're not very intimidating. You know what? Let's pick up armor smithing in case our armor gets beat up. That'll be a valid. All right, so we'll plug in our modifiers. Strength is 3. We have a 5 to climb. We have a 5 to jump. That's a 3. I'm sloppy. 5. Dexterity 1, so that's a 4. Charisma -1, that's a 2. And 1, 1, 3, and 3 for our crafts. Now, we get a bonus fighter feat. So we have to go to the fighter bonus feat list. And looking at the fighter feat list, I can't. It says here with like an asterisk on. For example, what's a fighter feat? All right, or not an asterisk. I'm sorry, it's a little number 1. Looking at this feat here, dodge. See that little 1? That means that it's a fighter feat. Okay, so we are going to take 3 feats. Now let's look at these feats. Power attack. Where's that at? Oh, there it is. Power attack. You have to have a strength of 13, which we have. You can trade attack bonus for damage up to your base attack bonus. So basically, what we could do here at level 1, if we take power attack, is we can subtract the base attack bonus of 1 that we have. So when we swing our attack, we will lose 1, but we'll gain that to the damage when we land it with our weapon. The next thing we want is cleave. Cleave requires that you have power attack, but it allows you to make an extra melee attack after dropping a target. Well, let me tell you a little secret. When you're level 1, you fight things like goblins and kobolds and zombies and orcs that have like very small amounts of hit points. Chances are, if you have a strength modifier of 3, 1 hit is going to drop most things. So always take power attack in it, which is a prerequisite for cleave, so you can get 2 free attacks at level 1. This is crucial. You run into the group of enemies, because a lot of them are not going to be able to hit you, and you cleave as much as you can. Now, Great Cleave is amazing, but we can't take that just yet. So we're going to look at what other feats could really benefit us down the road as a fighter. And what we want to do is we want to take Weapon Focus. Weapon Focus gives us a +1 proficiency bonus with a selected weapon. We don't know what weapon we're going to use yet. We're on a budget. I'm saying Great Sword. So we're going to take Weapon Focus, Great Sword. And now I'm going to tell you why. Yes, having a shield is great. Everybody knows that. But nothing is better than being able to cleave through enemies and kill them before they hit you. So let's go look at the fighter starting money. Our starting money is... It's top secret. Oh, that's because it's not there. It's in the weapons and shit. Starting money. Okay, starting money for a fighter is 64 times 10, or 150 gold pieces. We're going to do our 64 times 10 and take our chances. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Give us a 4. Give us a 4. 4. Oh, nice. We got our 150 that we would have gotten otherwise right there. So we know we want the Great Sword, and that's probably going to be one of our big money items. So let's flip to the chart here and look for our Great Sword. Two-handed melee weapon, Great Sword. 50 gold pieces. Holy shizen. And it does 2d6 damage for medium characters. It has a 19 to 20 times 2 crit range, and it weighs, survey says, I can't read it, 8 pounds. So let's go here. We have a Great Sword. It's splendid. It does 2d6. Crit range 19 to 20 times 2. The range, of course, is null. It's a slashing weapon, and it weighs 8 lbs pounds. We need to know that later, because when we total up what we're carrying, we want to make sure it doesn't slow us down. All right, with the rest of our money, we're going to buy armor and water skins and backpacks. And we're not going to go through all that, because it's really not crucial for your character creation for me to show you each of those. We know that we're low on money, so we're going to buy studded leather. That gives us a +3 armor bonus, bringing us up to a whopping 14. And with our base attack bonus of 1, and our sword being a weapon focus that we have, so we're going to go 1 for base attack bonus, 1 for that, and then our strength modifier 3. We have a +5 to attack with our sword. We're doing 2d6 +3 damage. we're ready to fight right now. We are ready to play D&D. All we need is a name, and our name is going to be Ted the Fighter. Not a great name for a fighter, I admit, but at least you know what he does for a living. He is a human. Put that on here. He is chaotic good. We'll go through alignments next time, maybe. He doesn't worship any gods. He's medium. He is 30 years old. He's a dude. He is 6 foot tall. He weighs 210 pounds. He has brown eyes, pink hair, and tan skin. All right. That's pretty much everything we need except for some basic things like backpacks and water. That was 21 minutes to make that fighter. That was 21 minutes of me explaining how you do it instead of just doing it. You could do this yourself in about 10 once you're familiar with what you want to do. All right, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching. That was Ted the Fighter.